Hello, welcome to Carlos's coronavirus predictions. Yes, it's yours.
You should do it too.
But I don't know enough. So basically, Carlos and I, we, like everyone else, have been discussing COVID-19, coronavirus. I think we'll just call it COVID for short, or C-19 for short. What do you prefer?
COVID's fine.
Okay. Carlos, as always, is a ton of reading and a lot of listening to podcasts and YouTube videos and all this other stuff. And he likes to think about things and form his own opinion. So I thought it'd be a really good idea to sit down with you so you can voice your predictions on kind of what you think the outcomes of COVID is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe you could give a little debrief of what's going on right now and then say what you think is going to happen and what your predictions are.
Sure.
And I'll act as like the hostess interviewer. Because I'm not really going to be adding anything to this, I don't think.
Sounds fun. All right, so where are we now? Yeah, that's a good way to start. Today is March 23rd, 2020.
In Winnipeg, Manitoba.
In Winnipeg. And right now, it's like the world, like Western world is basically shut down.
Well, like here in Manitoba, our schools are closed for 3 weeks starting Monday. All restaurants, all the seating is closed, but a lot of people are still doing takeout or delivery. All like communal gathering spots are closed. They're recommending social distancing and self-isolating, but we don't have any rules or regulations yet about like going outside or how many people can be together in a group, things like that. I'm still going to work Monday to Friday. We're not seeing any clients in the office though. You're still going to work because Carlos works at a grocery store, so luckily he still has hours because those are going to stay open. So that's where we're at right now.
Locally and globally, Italy has been on lockdown for a week. Just the worst case in the Western world, I suppose. Britain is like following suit, kind of. The other places in Europe, maybe Spain is kind of on lockdown pretty badly. Flights have been basically canceled everywhere. International traveling. Colombia shutting down the airports soon.
Nationally
within the country. No one can fly. That's insane. Of course, our flights to Colombia were canceled.
We were supposed to go in a week and a half. And I think right now in Manitoba, the last I heard, there are about 19 cases. And in Canada, I really don't know. So
I can look in a second. But
no, it's fine. So tell us your spiel.
All right. So from my research first I'll get into the health aspect. And then I'll go into the political ramifications and economic ramifications.
And this is all based on things that you've read and heard and discussions you may have had.
Yeah, first the health aspect is mostly from my research and the ramifications from my understanding of society, whatever, economics. So first, with regards to health, I am pretty convinced this is not that big. I mean, I'm not saying it's nothing. Where I stand, it's I think it's probably more severe than a normal flu, but not as widespread. What I mean by that is there are a lot of people saying oh, it's just the flu, bro, don't worry about it. But I think that maybe not. It's not that accurate. It's not the flu, it's different. But it doesn't seem to be that much worse. It's not an order of magnitude worse at all. I don't think it's going to be above a couple standard deviations of the flu at all. But I might be wrong. So the main points, I think, is I think there's a big clue in the temperature and humidity aspect of it, because China was the first one to get it, right? But then you had Thailand and Vietnam, where Chinese traveled to during the Lunar New Year, which is when the outbreak was spreading the most because of the inoculation period of a week or 2 weeks or whatever. So these people were traveling to Thailand and Vietnam and spreading it in the most densely populated cities in Southeast Asia, in Bangkok and in Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi as well. And we don't see big numbers in Vietnam or Thailand, and that's probably the biggest clue for me. It's like it didn't happen over there. It's a big clue that it's either seasonal or temperature, humidity dependent.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we didn't see it in Vietnam or Thailand, or at least not many cases.
Well, and I wonder what Africa's like. Do you have any idea?
We don't have any idea, but it's hard to tell, like because just like data is shit. Like they can't. I don't think they have the infrastructure that European countries have to test a lot of people. So
then
they won't
why would Vietnam and Thailand have it?
They have a better infrastructure.
Than
and
Africa?
A way to get out of this is just looking at the numbers of excess deaths during the time of the year. Like there's like a normal kind of every year with regards to the population. And if you deviate from that, you can say like, oh, more people died, whatever. And we aren't seeing that. People in Thailand and Vietnam aren't being tested, and we're not seeing the spread. So that's a good one. And same with Japan and South Korea. It's like South Korea, it went in and they're okay now. They like went in, they went out pretty quickly out of it. Like they're more northern than where China.
What do you mean it went in and went out? They're okay now.
There was a big scare in South Korea.
Mm-hmm.
The virus came in. There was a big panic. Spread a little bit. Then they started like physically distancing a little bit, wearing masks, and it's basically done. They're fine.
Like they're back to normal?
They have like less than 1,000 deaths, and it's like it's decreasing right now. When it's decreasing, it means it's about to be over.
And like, are they still going to work? Are they quarantining?
They never stopped going to work.
Oh, okay. So Korea
That's
is more or less the same.
Similar to China, less.
But I mean, it's more or less the same in their lifestyle. Like they haven't really.
Oh yeah. In
North America, we basically shut down.
Shut
South
down.
Korea is just more or less the same.
Same in Japan. Japan had like a small outbreak. They didn't stop life. They just wore masks, wouldn't work.
But that's not true. They canceled school in Japan.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Then maybe it was a little bit, more dramatic in Japan.
They had because I follow a girl who lives in Japan, and she showed a sign that was in an arcade. It was like, no children can come into this arcade until after 3 p.m. Because the kids were in school, so it was a problem, like all the kids going to the arcade, so they had to like, just supposed to be at home learning. So yeah, but I actually, on another note, I would really be sad to see the stats in North Korea, because if that got into North Korea, it's probably just
could be
terrible.
Yeah. So anyway, with this temperature and humidity and seasonality thing, I think that's the biggest thing, because like where you see like the biggest outbreaks, like in Hubei and around Wuhan, and in Iran, and in Italy, and in Washington State, and in New York State, all these places have like the same temperature ranges, kind of humidity ranges. So
it's more northern Italy than southern Italy.
Exactly. I was just reading a report from southern Italy doctors. They were like, yeah, it's kind of fine down here, but then you go to northern Italy, around Veneto and Lombardy, and it's like crazy. These guys are being paranoid about everything.
So it's more the COVID is more condensed in the northern regions of Italy than it is in southern Italy?
Yep, definitely. Also has to do with the populations, because in northern Italy, the population is even older
than
southern Italy. So anyway, my belief with this seasonality, it's also a seasonal thing. There's also another reason, but it's a little bit mathematic, and I don't want to get into it, that makes me believe that it's also a seasonal thing. So in my estimation, like it should be like this according to the seasonality hypothesis, this thing should be over right in the end, like of March, beginning of April. So it should be dying down by the middle of April.
Because that's when the flu season ends.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of like the big picture of regarding the spread of the virus, and just a lot of people were just so crazy about it, thinking that it was going to spread exponentially all over like that. They were just so like simplistic. It's like it's gonna go exponential and spread exponentially, and like they stopped there. It's like, well, nothing goes exponentially forever. It has to stop at some point. Like, don't you want to mention what happens afterwards? So I think these people were too simplistic, saying like it just spreads exponentially every time it spreads. I think it's more like a Gaussian thing. Another mathematical term, which basically means just goes up and down quickly. Goes up quickly, peaks, goes down quickly.
But I think what people are scared of is like, well, how much is it going to go up? Like, how many people are going to get sick or pass away until it starts to go back down?
For sure, that's very reasonable. And I think, physically distancing is, very good, cautious, and it's not a bad thing. Definitely, I think people should have done that to some extent. But people went way too far with this thing. It's crazy. I thought what we're experiencing now, we would have been experiencing mid-April. This just went.
So why do you think it's going too far? Like, why do you think this is not the safest, most appropriate approach to the problem? Because I was kind of thinking like, hey, Manitoba's doing like a pretty good job at, I think, or at least all Winnipeggers are doing a pretty good job at like the social distancing, the self-isolation, taking the precautions of washing your hands and all this stuff, and stores like making sure customers are so many feet apart. Like, why is that not worthy?
No, that is good. It's not worthy. I'm not saying that it's not worthy. I'm saying that it's being taken way too far. I don't think restaurants, for example, should have closed. I don't think restaurants should have closed at all. I think restaurants should take more precautions, and the people going there should understand that you're running the risk of having food being made by these people who might not be using masks, wearing masks.
Well, they still have food being made by these people. Are just picking it up
and
taking it
up
home.
Right now. And you don't know if they're taking those precautions, but
I think for the restaurants, it's more like so many people in such a small area. Like too many people too close together.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, that's a thing, but I don't know if you should close it. I don't know. I think you should let people decide they want to be next to other people.
Like maybe it would be more appropriate just to like have less capacity? Maybe
that's a good middle ground. It's just, I think it's way too far. I think the ramifications are going to be big if this paranoia doesn't, I don't think it's going to end. That's
well, it's going to end.
The second part of this.
But you don't know when it's going to end.
I don't think it's going to end soon enough.
Right.
Because of, so now we're going to the second stage. Now I think with regards to the health, like we're done, like it's got to be done by middle April.
I think it's important for you to comment more on why you think people are acting too irrationally. Like, what's your justification for it being too irrational?
I'm not saying they're irrational. I'm just saying they're taking it way too far, and I think they're taking it way too far because it's like the scare is the virus itself. It's like the paranoia just spreads like the virus. And the governments don't have the incentive to let people choose the risks that they want. Government has the incentive to make it seem as if they're in control. They, like the people in power don't want to be seen as useless. They want to be seen as inept. They don't want to they want to be seen as the leaders of the society. They want to be seen as the people who can handle this crisis or whatever.
Yeah, but okay.
So what they do is not, let's look at the data, let's see what's happening, maybe we can do this. No, they don't go like into nuance at all. They go into, oh my God, they see everywhere else in this crisis, see what happened in China, which was kind of crazy how the government reacted over there. And like, oh my God, crisis. We are in control. We can do this. This is our time to be able to defeat this virus. They don't go into the nuance of like, this is the information we have, this is how we got it, these are the extents and limitations of the information and the examinations and tests and experiments and whatever. And this is what we think we should. No, they go like, we have to, like, they jump. We have to defeat this virus. We can control it.
Well, I would also argue that, especially in Manitoba's case, like, I think that the government was just following the lead of everyone else. Like, I think Manitobans and Canadians and Winnipeggers were already talking about self-isolating and social distancing and, like, washing their hands. Like, I think that was already an organic thing that was happening, and the government just followed suit with that. And then when it comes to school closures, I think other provinces did that, so they just followed suit with that.
Exactly.
They're
so
being more, a little bit more
the signal
following.
Is not exactly. The signal is, let's keep spreading this virus of panic. That's the signal that they're sending.
That's interesting you think that, because I just think the Manitoba government was just like, we don't know. We're just going to kind of do what everyone says we should do or follow everyone else.
That's
we
my
don't
point.
know.
I agree with that, yeah. That's my point. They're not saying...
They're not being logical.
They're not saying, hey, look at this. We have this, we have this, we have this. This is what happened in South Korea. Look, oh, they did that. They didn't shut down this.
Yeah, I agree with that.
They just went, oh, we don't know. Let's keep it at bay.
Yeah.
That's all they do because that's the signal they're
Yeah.
getting and just amplifying it.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I think regardless of government involvement, things could have gotten to this point anyway. Like, people would have chosen to self-isolate, to work from home. Restaurants may have chosen to close their doors and do delivery only. Like,
Yeah,
I don't even
perhaps.
know if the government mandated for restaurants to close. But I think businesses and citizens would have probably made those choices on their own. I don't think the government needs to be involved to say, like, anything, really.
Perhaps. You know, some people are more into government than others. So the people that are more into government are probably in line with that. People who don't care much are going to be more like what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think it's a good case for that for sure.
Well, I guess we should move on to, like, what you think the outcome of COVID's going to be. I want to see what time we're at. We're at 15 minutes already.
So fucking long.
But whatever. I mean, if people want to watch, they're going to watch. I want to do this more for, like, to see if your predictions come true.
Yeah.
And, like, imagine looking back on this in 20 years. That's going to be so cool. Anyway, tell us what you think is going to happen after. Or in a month from, like, just what you think is going to happen.
Well, I already said what was going to happen with regards to the virus.
Yeah,
Now
it's just going to slow fade out.
The virus itself is going to fade out quickly. I was mentioning that Gaussian distribution is going to go up quickly and it's going to go down quickly. So it's going to fade down quickly, and then before you know it, we're going to be like, what happened? Like no one's being affected for a while, and then everything's going to go back to normal. But
like Zika.
But yeah, I think the biggest problem is not the virus itself, but the reaction to the virus.
You're right.
And right now we have the double whammy of the United States going into recession, so it's scary because people are going to be blaming the coronavirus, and that's not the cause of this downturn in the economic structure of the United States. And we're talking about the United States because they lead the world, and it's Canada as well, so it's important to talk about them because, like Sarah was saying, like we're like Manitoba's like just following everyone. Canada just follows US mostly. Not all the time.
I don't know. I don't know if
I
I go that far. But...
I wouldn't think like Trudeau would be like, oh, the Americans are crazy, shutting everything down, banning people from traveling to their country. No, they follow the US.
Yeah.
Trump closed the borders to these foreign places, and then Trudeau followed suit. Like it wasn't the other way around. Anyway, so people are gonna be blaming the coronavirus for the downturn in the economic situation.
But I think that's going to be true for here in Canada. I mean, I think we weren't doing that great already with, like, the price of oil and everything. And I don't know a lot about economics. I know a little bit. I have the basics down.
Yeah.
But I think in Canada, at least, or especially locally, if we're thinking, like, locally, like Winnipeg, this whole COVID scare is going to have a huge impact on the local economics.
Oh yeah, for sure. I was gonna get to that later.
Okay, sorry. I'll let you talk. And this is your predictions.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's true. I was talking more about the capital markets, a bit of the stocks.
Yeah.
It's going down like crazy. That makes no sense with the coronavirus, like at all. So that's what I mean. The coronavirus makes more sense in just like the local situation. We have this capital structure in the United States and the monetary situation over there. It's nuts right now. They're literally going $1 trillion a day in the repo markets. That's insane. That's crazy. And they're gonna be blaming that on the coronavirus. So what I think is gonna happen is people are gonna be like, oh, it was just coronavirus that made this happen, and they're not gonna understand like, no, it wasn't the coronavirus actually. That was just what they called the pin for the bubble that was being, inflated.
So you're saying this has been a long time coming, this recession, is what you're saying?
Yeah, that big financial capital markets downturn. Not this local thing we could experience if people stop working. Because there are many reasons that I don't have time to talk about.
Yeah, we can't get into that. This is about your predictions of what life's going to be like after
So
COVID.
I predict that people are not going to learn that lesson at all. And then Trump is going to be... The response from the United States is going to be making the situation worse by doing more stimulus, more monetary policies, expanding their assets within the Federal Reserve and making more money, printing more money, basically. And making more money available. The who knows, maybe getting interest rates negative in the US, which hasn't happened yet. I wonder if that's going to happen.
And just like to clarify, you mean when you say negative interest rates, you mean like less than 0%?
Yeah.
Just because I don't know if everyone understands that.
I think that's going to happen. That's my prediction.
That doesn't, okay.
And
okay, that's one prediction.
Then coming to the presidential elections, Trump is going to blame the coronavirus, say that the stimulus worked. Whatever he's going to do, the stimulus, maybe the negative interest rates.
Stimulus?
The stimulus I was referring to earlier.
Making money?
Yeah, monetary stimulus, maybe fiscal stimulus. So he's going to be blaming the coronavirus, saying like, oh, he did a great job, and he's going to be parading that all around, and people are going to believe it and swallow it, for sure.
So you think he's going to make more money and spend more money?
I think there's going to be stimulus. I don't know if he's going to do it monetary stimulus or fiscal stimulus. I think they're probably just going to print a bunch of money.
Okay, and then what else?
And then I also think that it's gonna be really bad because of the actual recession that the COVID virus is making. Like, people are not working. 500,000 people in Canada already have filed for unemployment insurance.
Employment insurance. And when did you look at that stat? Because it's probably grown.
A couple days ago.
Yeah, it's probably grown since then.
So a couple days ago. So if we extrapolate that to the US, it's 5 million people. And people are not going to be working. People are going to be a little upset within time. And
what really bothers me is when people say, like, they're not working because of COVID, but they think the government should still give them money for not working.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that boggles my mind that people think that and think that the government should be giving them money because they're not working. Like, that I just can't... I mean... I understand why people think that because they're entitled. But like, this is the reason why you save. Like, you should be saving your money for a reason. This is one of those reasons. And if there's a global pandemic that no one can predict, this is why you have savings. And that's a problem when we live in a culture, like a debt culture. Like North America, I think a lot of first world countries have turned into this debt culture. People are living off of their debt. And that's a huge problem because for me, that's what I was thinking about with this COVID-19 and people not working. Like, they're already living off their debt. They're going to get more and more into debt. And it's just going to be bad.
Yeah, definitely.
But please.
So that ties into the stimulus thing. So you have all these people who are not working indefinitely. That's the problem with this thing. Like, if you went like, okay, let's do this for 2 weeks, then we can all go back to it. Maybe not that abruptly or whatever, but just like, in a sense, make it more like predictable, being like, after 2 weeks this will happen or something like that. But right now it's nothing. It's like, shut down everything, let it go. Don't go to work, don't travel, don't do it. It's crazy. Risks should be managed individually. Individuals should be able to take risks they want. I'm not saying we shouldn't physically distance. I think that's a good thing. I think everyone should be wearing masks, probably. I think that's a smart thing to do because if everyone's wearing masks, no one's spreading it to anyone else. So that's smart. That's what South Korea and Japan did, and they're doing fine. Maybe that helped. I think likely it helped, but maybe it's not even necessary. But we should be doing those things individually, not having this massive shutdown of schools, restaurants, whatever. No, it's just insane. So this is going to be going indefinitely because no one has said anything about a time horizon. That's one of the big things. Like, people are going to start becoming more and more restless as their money runs out, and as they drive up their credit card debt. And that's going to be asking for more government to help them solve their problems.
More government intervention.
So it's a double thing of these people are not working, not making money. They're going to debt, and they want government to solve their problems. Plus,
which means that they're going to take money from us to give to, I don't know, like,
yeah.
They're taking money from people who don't have money in the first place to give them more money. Like, it's just a terrible cycle.
So what I think is going to happen with this, I think it's going to be, they're not going to set a time frame at all. I don't see any incentive. I think maybe by the end they're going to be like, okay, in a week, but it's going to be like a long time being, I think this is going to keep going for a month. And then within a month, we're going to be like, what the fuck? We need to go to work. And then after that month, we're like, okay. In a week, we can go back to work. Something like along those lines. It's going to be like a long period of like nothing. Just like a lot of uncertainty and indefiniteness. And then suddenly it's going to be like, okay, let's do it. It's gonna be,
yeah, because everyone will have had enough.
We should have been working like right now.
But I feel like I didn't get a good sense of like your other predictions, like what you think the world, like I was thinking more along the lines like you were gonna say things like unemployment's gonna go up, or you think the housing market's gonna crash, or you think that the dollar's gonna plummet, or something like that. Like,
oh, those are very hard predictions.
I know, but like I would imagine you would have thought of that.
I said a couple. Well, the first prediction I made was this is gonna be blowing down.
We're getting on 25 minutes here, so we should wrap it up.
So first prediction, you were talking about hard predictions. So first prediction was the virus thing is gonna be over by middle of April. Not completely over, basically over by middle of April.
Okay.
Second prediction, negative interest rates in the United States. This is a hard prediction. I would put like 60-40.
Yeah. Okay.
Third prediction, employment is obviously gonna go up. I think that's an easy one.
Unemployment's gonna go up?
It's already gone up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's gonna keep going up until this thing blows over.
Mm-hmm.
Say Bitcoin. Bitcoin is gonna go down and then up.
Okay.
That's my prediction. I hope it just goes up. You never know what's gonna happen. I think it's gonna go down a little bit to like 5,000, and then it's gonna go up to like 15,000.
Mm-hmm.
And what else can I try to predict?
I don't know.
You were mentioning some things earlier.
Oh, like houses, dollar, new businesses. Our business is gonna close. Like.
Oh, of course, businesses are gonna close. Yeah.
But like they're gonna be shut down forever. Like they're gonna go bankrupt and just be gone, be done.
Oh yeah, well we're gonna see a lot of bankruptcies and like lower, like middle-sized businesses, and you're gonna see corporations just gobbling them up because they're gonna be the big ones are gonna be like, I don't know, for example, airline companies, cruise companies. They're not getting a lot of things right now. A lot of customers. They probably have a lot of lobbying. They're gonna get a bunch of money from the government, and they're gonna be okay, which is bullshit. But that's what's going to happen to them, and that's not going to happen to the small business like restaurants and manufacturers or who the fuck knows, whatever factory. Mm-hmm. Those businesses are going to shut down, a lot of them, and the bigger ones are going to gobble them up, and it's not good. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of it.
Yeah. So, okay.
Yeah, that's the COVID discussion.
Interesting. Well, thanks for watching this extremely long video. If you made it this far. Hopefully you put it on like double speed. And that's it. I guess we'll see you in the next video. It'll be interesting to see what life's like in a few months, to see if any of your predictions have come true.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Thanks for watching.